How past narratives misled people about Tua and why the world believed it. Posted by Ricky Watson, November 2, 2023 Season 2. If you look at this week's NFL leaders in quarterback stats, you'll find that Miami Dolphins quarterback Tua Tagovailoa is at the top. 8 games through the season, Tagovailoa leads in passing yards, 2,416 yards per game, 302 touchdowns, 18 and passer rating, 108.8. If you listen to the media, former coaches, and some fans 3 years ago, their expectations were further away from what reality is today. In a nutshell, the narrative around NFL circles was that Tua Tagovailoa was a bad quarterback and would become a first-round bust. But why did the narrative around Tagovailoa even get to the point that it suggested he would not be a good quarterback? The reasons were numerous, and most were silly. For starters, most NFL fans and some NFL analysts don't watch college football. So, the fact that Tagovailoa was the #1 dual-threat high school recruit in his recruiting class in the country was an oversight. So was the fact that Tagovailoa was the most efficient college football quarterback in the history of college football, which is based on an actual stat of a career efficient rating of 199.4, highest in college history. Therefore, the 3 seasons Tagovailoa had at Alabama of accurate passes, 87 touchdowns, and numerous 50-plus air-yard passes were never noticed by casuals. The idea of Tagovailoa's talent and skills only came from those displayed in the NFL. What many people forgot was that Tagovailoa was coming off a catastrophic hip injury he suffered in college that required surgery. When Tagovailoa made his NFL debut against the New York Jets on October 18, 2020, not only had it not been a year since his surgery, but it hadn't even been a year since the injury. When Tagovailoa was put in his first NFL start against the #1 ranked defense, the Los Angeles Rams, on November 1, 2020, he still was less than a year from the hip injury, and he wasn't 100% healthy. It appeared that the playbook was only designed for dink and dunk passes, and therefore, Tagovailoa was only able to get 93 yards in 22 attempts. Some have suggested former Dolphins offensive coordinator Chan Gailey wanted to keep the passes short and the game plan simple due to Tagovailoa's hip injury. Whether that was the case or not, fans and media alike received the false impression that Tagovailoa had a stigma that he could only be a dink and dunk passer in the NFL. Tagovailoa's off-season trainer, Nick Hicks, once said that when he met Tua following his rookie season, he was just a shell of his former self. That was most likely due to the severity of his hip injury. However, even though Tagovailoa hadn't fully recovered, the Dolphins coaching staff chose to start him in NFL games his rookie year anyway. Whether it was the coach's initial decision or Tagovailoa's pressing to play, it is far different from the Dolphins' current coach, Mike McDaniel's style. Even when injured players are encouraged to return to games, McDaniel has said numerous times that the team has to protect players from themselves by avoiding putting them in unnecessary situations that may hinder their progress. When Tagovailoa began to have bad games near the end of his rookie season, not only did fans and media forget he was coming off a hip injury, but some also chose to ignore it while others were unaware of it. As a result, those bad games created a narrative throughout the media that Tagovailoa must not be NFL material. Unfortunately, that narrative was all presented without any context or explanation. When Tagovailoa struggled against Denver in 2020 and Brian Flores benched him in the 4th quarter, some Dolphins fans became critical of Tagovailoa. Most fans had confidence in Flores then, trusted his decisions, and believed in his answers. Flores had said about benching Tua, "We felt it was the best move." Flores went on to explain that he felt that he thought Ryan Fitzpatrick gave them the best chance to win the game in a 2-minute drill. After Flores' comments about Tua's benching, many fans were upset that Tua was starting over Fitzpatrick. What fans failed to realize was that Fitzpatrick did worse in the game than Tua did. Eventually, Fitzpatrick ended the Dolphins' drive with an interception. The Denver game was also a game in which ESPN commentator Stephen A. Smith said he disagreed with Flores' decision to bench Tagovailoa. Smith believed that taking Tagovailoa out of a game during adversity may have stunted his growth in learning. He also believed that it was possible that Tagovailoa could have possibly come back and won the game since the Dolphins only lost by 7 points.